a couple comes in and they argue. No, this one won. No, this one. No, and you can hear them back and forth because they personalize what it means to them.
Right.
And then we just tally up whoever. You don't have to vote, but this one's better. And then they just move up whoever beat who, and then it turns into the end. And then everybody says that we should put the winner on the menu, but I make them so difficult to make that I couldn't put it on the menu.
Yeah, it'd be too much.
Like their ramen's great because you can sell start to finish in 3 minutes because everything is prepped beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
You're just essentially heating the noodle and then cooking the protein to order. But the specials are 7, 8, 9 minutes, and it just gets bogged down at a 50 to 100 seat restaurant. And there's sometimes where the entire restaurant is eating the special.
Right.
So we'll sell 200 specials in a day, which is great in any restaurant to sell 200.
Yeah, that's good.
Of a special is pretty nuts.
Wow. You see, this is the thing I like learning about this type of stuff because I've never been exposed to ramen before. And like I said, when I was watching that, because I try to read a lot. I try to research because I like learning about new ingredients because I think for me, it felt like that's how you go and advance yourself. That's how you're going to get to that next level because I don't want to be just a typical chef who just replicates what he see his predecessors do. I want to create, it's like right now, I try to tell everybody now I'm working on a book. I'm writing a book and I want to do authentic Jamaican desserts. You know what I mean? I don't want to showcase the world how creative it can be. And, I want people to understand that, being a chef is not just going in the kitchen and cook or just throwing stuff in a pot. Like look at what you did. You're using characters to create a dish and you're using your food, just like you said, like the canvas and the paint. You're telling a story. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? And I want the younger chefs to understand that they have to put more effort because look at your journey. You came from America, from LA, you moved around so much, but you learned so much. And now you're in a lane where nobody could take you out. And now you're creating, because you created something. I've never heard that before, what you just told us. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's really fascinating when I see the different sides of you because, I know you for we worked together for about 2 years. Yeah, and back then you was doing the sushi. So, let's talk about the sushi because that's something I love. I remember. Yeah. I don't eat it much anymore because I don't really mess around with the meat sometimes, but sushi is really, really delicate. And it takes a lot of precision with the cuts. Because I remember you had this thing you used to peel. And you peeled it so thin.
Katsurumuki, yeah.
Oh my God. I used to be like, how the hell you peel that thing? Do you have I wish you could find, if I was doing it, I would have probably found something I could.
There is one, yeah.
That you could peel it with?
Yeah, there's a machine for it.
But you had to do it the hard way. Well, you didn't have it.
You're supposed to, yeah. I mean, I'm also not...
Because used to the cucumbers, you used to peel them too?
Yeah, but if... you should do it because you want a better skill.
Right.
And if you get better skill, everything else is easier because you're not so stressed out.
Right.
But I mean, machines are great.
Right.
With the staff that I have now, I can't keep up with production myself, and their skill level is so poor in that regard. If we're just going to say the Katsurumuki skill, that it behooves me to, as a business owner, manager, to have a machine to get it done in a timely manner.
Right.
However, when it's slow and everything's caught up, I put it in front of them.
You got to learn to do this. Right.
If you want to know, you got to do it.
Right.
I've done, I try and make people, because I do it to myself, but it's also been done to me. Make it more difficult because then it'll be easier. When I first started at the sushi bar in San Diego, this Korean chef saw me using chopsticks and he said, "Oh, it's no good." And he dumped out a cup of sesame seeds and he said, "Put those in there." And he gave me chopsticks.
That
and then he walked away. Impossible. And then I'm like, okay, but I'm also excited. I'm like, okay, but then all these customers come in and I said, "Chef, can I?" And he said, "No, leave them." And they have to be done by the end of the shift. But I've got to make food. So I push everything over to this little corner and then I rope it off just so I won't mess it up.
Right.
And then I work my shift and then I keep working. And I'm trying to like one by one, do it all.
So you could pick it up. You could pick up.
Yeah.
You did it?
Yeah. And then I finished it and he looked at me, he was good. And then that was it, But when he also gave me another task. He gave me one piece of cooked shrimp, filleted out for sushi, and he wrapped it in plastic. And then he gave me one piece of the rice ball, and he wrapped that in plastic. And he said, "Here you go." Because I had a hard time grabbing. It's a very delicate skill trying to get the rice because you have to roll it in your fingers to then pick it up between the two middle fingers and then the index and pinky as your form. And it's this weird. It takes a long time to understand. Because when you grab it, you initially just
want to squeeze it up, right,
and make it tight. And then a tight ball is not as good. You want to have air in there for like the texture on your tongue. And so I couldn't figure that out. So he gives me this, and then I was squeezing too hard on my fish to rice, and he said, "Just keep that in your pocket. On Friday, I'll give you another one." Motherfucking Monday, dude. It's Monday.
Jesus.
And I just got used to it. And so I kept the shrimp in my left and the rice in my right. And I worked all day, every day. But when I would go home, I just had this, and I would go to house parties and stuff because it's like 21 and college town. And I would be like, "What's up? What's going on?" And then like take a drink. And then I would just be doing this all the time. And then for 3 months, every Friday I got a new one. And I'm extremely proficient at that. Because it's muscle memory. It's the same like
temperature on the beef and stuff.
Or what is it? Free throw? I don't play basketball.
I don't need this. So
shooting a 3.
Right.
I'd say that. Or like hitting a home run.
Right. It just comes natural.
You have to be.
Right. It's just like when you're cooking, you're doing a medium rare.
The reason why I'm bringing it up is that the young chefs, it's good to broaden and see as much as possible. But in Kitchen Confidential, Anthony Bourdain, he says best to work in a hotel in the beginning because you're dealing with thousands. You got to be doing repetitions.
Right. That's the only way you can get it.
You can bang out a cheesecake with more than likely your eyes closed.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it's something you've done hundreds and hundreds.
I can make a cheesecake with an
oven, without an oven,
with everything. Any way you give,
with a fork, with anything.
Yeah. If I don't have a mixer, I still can make it.
Yeah,
and
but
that's
you
really
know
true.
The foundation first. Once you can do the foundation, then do A, then do B, then do C. Because my experience now is, it's not a negative, but with Food Network and Chef Series and all that stuff, people see the whimsical. Right. They don't see the grind.
No.
I got up at 3:30 this morning to come and prep and clean the place. I'm up at 4 every morning to make sure that both the restaurants are supplied. And I try and balance it as best as I can. There's times where I don't need to work and I make myself not.
Right.
Because I'll just stay here all the time. And that doesn't benefit anybody.
That's true.
Especially in the beginning, you have to, 8 hours isn't enough. But you can't, the onus is not on the owner to, this is the weird part because you need to work more, but you're only going to get 8.
Exactly. So the rest is on you.
You can tell the owner or chef, "I'll work for free," but then people get bitter because you're putting in all the time, and then so it's a weird situation. Unless you tell the chef, and it's a smaller spot, "I'll work for cash on the side."
Right.
Like, you pay me this. That's why once I could be on salary, to me it was easier. And they said, "Do you want to be hourly salary?" Like, just pay me for the day. I don't care. I'm worth $100 minimum.
Right.
Pay me $100. Okay. If there's tax, pay me $120.
Right.
Because I want $100.
Right.
And
exactly.
if you think about it that way, then it's not as stressful. Moving forward now, I think generationally, I'm sure our predecessors had a problem, but it's difficult now because everybody expects more. And
exactly. And sometimes, not to knock nobody down, but sometimes they don't really deserve the more that they're looking for. You know what I mean? Like for me, just like you, I started out and I wasn't making that much money. You know what I mean? And I was working 14 hours, 16 hours a day. My shift was like 8 to 2. Yeah. And I used to leave work at 9. Throughout that rest of the time, I used to do ice carving. I was in the garmanger learning how to make salads and stuff. And I was on a hotline. I was everywhere. Yeah. So I understand. So, and then when within like 2 years of working or 3 years, my boss decided that he wanted to train to become a supervisor. And then I was doing more. I was there because I had to come to work, do my regular shift, and then I had to make sure every restaurant was good for the night shift. So every day I was doing at least 16 hours. I was getting paid for that. But nowadays, if somebody works an extra 2 hours, they complaining, oh, they don't want to pay me no money. But you got to put the work in order for you to get the experience and the knowledge.
But I understand where they're coming from.
I get it too.
Yeah, you should be getting paid. But
it's for you though. Nobody asked me to work.
You're investing in yourself.
Exactly.
That's the thing. So,
because what I gained over those hours,
I get paid a lot more than $100 a day now. I can guarantee you that.
And it's because you did that, right? Like if you didn't take that.
I invested $7,000 in myself to go to Japan. I mean, I worked 2 jobs for a year to invest in myself.
And that's what I'm saying.
Like you have to, there's a pro and a con to it.
And like what you did, like Colin, we remember Colin, we used to work it, right? Colin said something to me one day that stuck with me. He said a lot of stuff that stuck with me. But this one thing that
he's prolific, dude. Colin,
yeah, man. He's
as a person, as a chef, I think he's a very important figure for Jamaica.
Listen, a lot of people don't understand him. And sometimes even myself, I try, he does things and I'm like, but he knows his worth. And when you know your worth, it's hard for you to be accepted. You know, and understand. Yeah. You know, if you understand what I'm saying. But like he told me one day, he said, Winston, well, he called me Murdoch. He said, Murdoch, don't you ever.
You got to drop the voice though. Bridgin.
Yeah, Bridgin.
Murdoch.
Yo, Bridgin. Listen to me, Bridgin. But he told me that you should never, ever try to cook like the French because you're not in France. Until you work with them and understand their culture and understand the food and the ingredients, then you do that. But if you do that, if you go to wherever and try to cook French food, they're going to laugh at you. And I'm like, what is he talking about? In school, that's all they teach you. They teach you French desserts, Italian, you know, and I was like, man, and when I got older and I was like, oh, I understand what he's saying. So now instead of me chasing to learn the French type of cooking or the French type of doing things, because, you know, most of the culinary thing is surrounded by French, especially on this side of the world. Yeah. I realized that I should embrace my culture, you know what I mean? Because this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I know the most about. Like most of the ingredients you can find in Jamaica, I know them, or I know what it tastes like. I understand the texture. I understand how they work. You know what I mean? And I'm investing in that right now because I spent most of my life investing in other things that's not really profitable to me because it's so, like, the world is changing, Steve. I don't know if you realize, like 5 years ago, they weren't making these type of, like, the desserts they're making now. Like, everything is looking like what it is. Yeah. If you're making an orange dessert, its shape and look and the color and the texture. And I'm like, Jesus. Yeah. It's just crazy. Yeah. So, like, now I'm like, yo, I can't keep up with this. So I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna go a different direction. You know? And like I said, I wanna tell the younger generation to do like you. You have to have a vision of where you want to go. And you have to make or take chances. Because you took a big chance and look what, it paid off for you.
For years and years, you know, there's a lot of time that I didn't know what I was doing. Right. I just knew, you know, 21-year-old, 20-year-old young Steve, it clicked. Like, it makes sense in a restaurant. Right. My great grandmother, she owned a restaurant, one of the first female-owned restaurants in LA back in the 50s.
You came from a family of.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I found I guess it would be my great grandmother, but my grandma on my mom's side, she compiled all the family recipes and made a family cookbook. And in the process of opening my restaurant, I've been looking back through it, and a lot of notes that my great grandmother wrote are exactly the same things that I do on my own. Like in one of them, it says, if you're using celery, always use the leaves because they have the most amount of flavor. And I figured that out on my own. Like, wow. So there's little bits in there that make sense to me. Right. So I'm at the point now where I don't want to, if I fuck up, it's a loss of an investment of the past 20 years. Yep. Not to mention everything that Dan did or, you know, show or anybody, you know, or the time that I spent with John and Steve and Jamaica. I mean, there's a plethora of people that, especially, I mean, I stopped smoking and drinking a year and a half ago. And I found myself just being upset all the time. I couldn't be off of work.
Right.
I mean, even when I was off work, I was stressed out, and I found myself aggressive towards my kids, and I was just being a dick and like, leave me alone.
Right.
And I had like a mini mental breakdown, and I drove to Arizona. There's a lot of unprocessed stuff that with my mom's death that I hadn't dealt with.
Right.
And so I drove back across the country, and it was 36 hours to get there. I spent 36 hours there and then 36 hours to get back. But during the time I was there, I had like my emotional drop with my brother, sister, and my dad and I. We all had
just like a moment.
We all grabbed something of hers and put it into the fire that we have outside. And it's just like, okay, that's it. And on my way back, I said, I'm not drinking and smoking anymore. And I haven't. And I thought about my mom dying when I was 31, 32. And I look at my girls. I'm like, no, so I just started getting healthy and putting more, I'm taking care of myself more.
Right.
So I don't get stressed out or as upset as I used to. And if I do get upset, I just kind of internalize it and then deal with it later. But I started being more vocal on social media about it.
Right.
And I've gotten a lot of support from people.
Yeah, because I saw that whole journey. You was doing the
marathons and the ultra marathons and stuff.
And on the outside looking in, I was like, yeah, this looked like a different type of thing. Because you was just focused. You was like, don't give up.
Yeah.
You can do it. Don't give up. And I was like, wow.
I'm saying it for myself a lot of times, but I've seen a few people get sober and they've said it's because of what you're doing.
Right.
And they'll topple and they're like, oh, dude, I drank yesterday. And I'm like, who cares? It's no big deal.
Not the end of the day.
If you want to drink tonight, drink tonight.
It's
just like, what's the goal? And my goal is open this restaurant. And my goal is to spend more time with my kids.
Right.
And my wife's mom is staying with us, and it's really great for me because to have a female figure, obviously I miss my mom and I would like her to be around my girls, but my girls will run up and give grandma a hug. And it's like, that's important.
Exactly.
Because it's just me and Francine. I mean, we moved to Gainesville for this job. We don't know anybody here.
Right.
And so we've raised these two kids, just us. And I'm always at work. And so it's Francine alone. And I feel sorry for her. And now that she's got her mom and there's a connection, and I'll bounce stuff off of Evelyn, and it's just good because she's a sense of motivation, and I don't know, it's just everybody. It was so negative for so long,
right? And
I felt alone. And the more I'm opening up about it, the more connection I'm getting, and it's not as scary,
That's true. I used to be like that, like back then when I was in Jamaica.
Especially Jamaican men. The Jamaican, this isn't a joke, but like Jamaican men are very rigid.
Yeah,
and
like
just, this is my emotion, that's it. I'm not sharing anything.
You're not sharing nothing.
Yeah. And I mean, laugh and joke and stuff like that, but when it gets to
the emotional side,
like
just
the deep part of it,
opening up and letting people in. Like I used to be like that. Like back then, I used to drink a lot. Well, you know this because we always out drinking, and I used to smoke. A lot of people don't even know I used to smoke, but anyways, and I was always angry. I couldn't sleep at nights. Like,
you drink to sleep.
I drink to sleep. I used to, this, like we used to be out, like I leave work
3,
at
4 in the
11
morning,
and I used to be on the
6,
road
7,
until like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And then I get up at 6. And I was doing that for a while. And one day I came to America on vacation, and I was sitting down in my cousin's house, and I said to myself, like, what are you doing with your life? And I couldn't answer the question. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, dude, you're doing this
old.
thing.
I'm 28. I'm 32.
What am I doing? And it dawned on me then, like, okay, you need to change some stuff. And that's when I just dropped everything. Like, I dropped everything.
I remember,
right. And then right after that, I left.
Yeah.
And that was the best thing I did for myself. My anger was truth. It was like, and I realized myself too, even now, I do therapy right now, because now I realize there's a lot of stuff that was in my past that I didn't know was causing me to be the way I was. But now I'm happy.
You got to think of it like cleaning.
Yeah.
Because you clean your room, right? But what about that one
Yeah.
hallway. Like,
Yeah.
what about that closet?
Yeah, you
And it's
gotta
like
clean.
5 years, never been touched.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
maybe sometimes you got to get underneath the house.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to get done.
Yep.
Like it's not fun, but once it's done, I just feel lighter. I'm not like,
I feel the same, man. Like now, this is why I can go on these new ventures and stuff. And like some people that used to be in my life, I had to get rid of. Some friends that I thought was, I used to cherish people so much that I was loyal to it. Like,
yeah,
I was too loyal to some people,
Yeah.
and they was pulling me back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the more I grow, and the more I understand that life is simple. Like I have a son now, I love him to death, and it's just like sometimes I look at it, I'm like, damn. One person can change your life. You know what I mean? I'm happy the transition I make. I don't drink as much. If I go out, I may have a drink, but that's it. Like now I'm more focused on just family. I spend my sister, I spend a lot of times on the phone with her, my grandmother, all the people that I cherish, I keep them close to me. And that's all I want right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from, man, but it's a part of the growth.
Yeah.
I learned that it's a part of the growth. And when you're this inclined to who you are, it's easier for you to maneuver through the world.
It's almost that saying like God's he's not gonna give you something unless you're ready for it.
Right.
And God is whatever. I mean, it could be Jah or
right. Whatever you want to call
Buddha,
it.
But
right.
I firmly agree that I was ready for everything that I got.
Right.
And I'm ready now. That's why I'm getting the opportunity.
Right.
So if you're not getting what you want right now, maybe you need to look to see why you're not getting it.
Exactly.
And then it'll come.
Exactly.
But you gotta wait, and that's the shitty part.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, so I gotta ask you, what do you think is the hardest part of being a chef?
Oh goodness, man. It's the term has been so loose that in my position right now, if I'm not opening the restaurant, my most difficult part managing the two restaurants is getting the senior staff to follow the directions that I want,
right,
to then get their junior staff to follow.
Right.
Before I was trying to manage everybody, and there's a reason why Escoffier created the brigade.
The brigade,
because
right.
Even the military, you can't control everyone. The general controls 10 people,
right? It's like a chain
and then
of
that
command.
person controls another 10, and it's just the way you can't control. It's just not possible. There's a reason why there's FOH and back of house.
Right.
There's a reason why there's a GM, then a floor manager. Then from floor manager, there's servers or like server captain, because it's just not feasible. When you, as a chef, strictly on food, I would have to say just following the recipes and the SOPs. If you don't have SOPs, then the people are going to do whatever they want.
Right. And the SOPs is standard operating procedures.
System, what is it? Yeah, standard operating procedure.
Right.
As a restaurant owner right now, I mean, I'm not open yet. I expect to open in the next 2 weeks. But it's obviously like financial control, and then dealing with disappointment. I've hired quite a few people that expect them to do set job for X amount of dollars, and it takes X times 2, or it's just poor work.
Right.
And if you say you're going to do something, you better be able to do it. I just don't like lying, you know?
Right.
Just nobody does, but it's just, it pisses me off, you know? Like, I'd rather do it myself. I mean, there's paint all over the floor from a shitty job that I did, and I know it. I'm like, okay, I got to clean that up. But if I pay somebody to paint, and
they say they're professional, then you're not expecting the same thing.
And that it was me and this guy that were painting the bathrooms the other day, and he, I guess, he inadvertently booby trapped me. He put a can of paint at the bottom of the ladder that I was working on. So I step off the ladder, and then I step on the paint, and then it falls everywhere. And I'm like, bro. And it's, a $40 can of paint. And then I'm like, dude, that's not like, you're looking at $40, but it can go a long way.
Yeah, it does add up at the end of the day. But yeah, man, like from throughout my whole journey of being in the kitchen, I'm realizing, even though most of the time spent learning, I realized that I missed out on a lot of things.
Family.
I missed out on just like, like just what we talked about, like dealing with stuff that was inside.
Oh, true. Yeah, but you would have missed that too. Just it's not the
Just
restaurant's
regular
fault,
life.
right? I mean,
I look at it like that because sometimes like even now, I got multiple things I'm doing. And like you said earlier, when you find yourself and God is providing, He's giving you what you deserve. Right now, I'm on a journey of, like, I have a lot of business ventures that I'm gonna jump in next year. Like I told you, I'm writing a book. I wanna help I want to help Jamaican chefs to realize what they have, because when I came here and I lived here, I realized the value of what we have down there. When I was there, I couldn't see it because I was
true. Yeah,
I was all over
in
the place.
both the product, but also the skill
and the skill. Like,
like
the people down there, they work hard. When they work hard.
Work.
You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have to make it profitable for them.
Yeah.
You have to make it in their favor for them to get the best out of them.
Yeah.
And if another thing Colin taught me, like I said, he taught me, when you're a leader, you don't have to shout at people. You don't have to bully people around. You show respect and you get respect. You lead from the front. You know what I mean? And I was like, I didn't understand that, but now I get it. Like, you don't have to come and say, oh, yo, this, that, whatever, and shout at people and be like, no, you just be like, okay, this is how you do it. This is a procedure to get it done fast. You have to
acknowledge when the guy comes in that doesn't want to be, like, what's the loose lips sink ships, or
right.
If you get a bad apple in your crew, motherfucker got to go, quick, because it's
gonna pass on to the next person. It's
insane how fast that happens, because you get a new guy or girl that comes on, and within a week, the whole system's a mess, because chef doesn't know what he's doing, or this, or he's just saying whatever he wants to say, and then it just comes down to the interview process.
Right.
And I'm known in Gainesville to be pretty hard on people, just firm, and I've had people come in for interviews, and you have to do a stage. And if I say stage and they don't know what it is, I already know at that point I have to treat them a little bit different. But if they know what it is, then I'm already expecting something from them.
So just to cut you short,
so a stage is a working interview.
Right. So it's pretty much you cooking for the position or whatever. Whatever you're going to do.
And the way I say it to them is, like, the interview went great. We need you to come in for a stage. You can do it now if you want. Let's just do 2 hours, 1 hour up front on the line, 1 hour in the back, just prepping stuff. If you don't know what a stage is, we interview you and you interview us. Because if we give you a job and you don't like it here, what's the point?
No.
So this 2 hours is you showing us that you know how to do it, and we know what we're doing with you.
Right.
And we'll pay you $10 an hour for this stage. So you get $20 at the end of it. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's $20.
Right.
And then we start them not necessarily on the line. You do 20 to 30 minutes on the dish. And I'm just looking if you're organized. If you can quickly see where stuff goes. And then we do 40 minutes of knife work, whether it's just cutting vegetables. We probably, if they can, within 10 minutes show they can do vegetables,